I instantly fell in love with the Vitruvian V-Form Trainer Plus, even if it set me back thousands of dollars. So ultimately, this is a minimalist home gym piece of equipment that has a platform and allows you to do a variety of exercises with adaptive resistance. So from what I can find online, the hardware relies on motors and drivers to change the resistance based on how much force you put against the cables. That force output information is then sent over to the Vitruvian app, which tells the system to go up or down in resistance so that you are able to move through the reps and not hurt yourself in the process. Now when it comes to my personal strength training workouts, I really like to have pull downs. However, this device does not have it at this time. But I did reach out on Facebook to one of their posts asking if something for pull downs is coming, and they said it is in the works right now. So I'll be looking to see when that addition comes, because they said it will work with the current version of the Trainer Plus. So looking at the total cost, the base Trainer Plus was $2,990. Then add on $250 for the premium accessories, then another $267.31, and we get a total cost to me of $3,507.31. Alright, so we went over what the Trainer Plus is. So now let's go over what I did and didn't like after doing my initial testing, starting with the things I really did like. So first off, I have not felt this good on a device since I bought, I'd say, the Core Fitness dumbbells. When I bought those dumbbells, it really just changed how my entire home workout was. I did have a set of adjustable dumbbells before that, which were the power blocks, but I didn't really like them. They were just really bulky. But moving over to the Core Fitness dumbbells really just changed my life and what my thoughts on dumbbells could be. That's why I also went the new bells later. However, this thing gives me the same feelings. Kind of going from my resistance band setup to this is a night and day difference on just how much better the Vitruvian is. Again, the cost is really, really high, but this thing has been a blast to use. I've been doing the strength test and the beginners, kind of just getting to learn the thing a bunch of times. So just know I've done them more than once just because I love using this thing so much, and I have done a few full workouts with it as well. And that's within just a couple days of buying this. That's how much I like to use this thing. Now this is all cable bound, so it's interesting going from having free weights to just cables, because again, you still get that resistance from the machine, but you're setting everything up like you're using cables themselves, or what I would call resistance bands in my old training. However, I really still enjoy this system. It's very easy to use. The clamps or the locks that they have are very quick and easy to put those in and out of if you're changing the accessories. So overall, I've had a blast using this and switching between the equipment, testing things out, and I'm really excited to see how this goes for my first 30 days. Now the platform is also really wide, matching anything I need when it comes to squats, deadlifts, and where you might have your feet separated pretty far. So again, like sumo squats or sumo deadlifts, you're probably still going to be able to fit within the parameters of the platform. Now if you're really tall, maybe not, but for me, again, I'm just under 6 feet at 5'11", it works perfectly fine for my setup. So I really do like the look of this product as well. It has a cool little light that goes in the middle of the product when it's laying down, and just know this actually has some utility. So if you go outside the range of motion, so say you go too far down in a squat compared to what you normally do, it'll actually blink red, indicating that you just went too far. So when you go and do the exercise, you actually do 3 reps first so it can learn your range of motion, and then you do that so it can supply the resistance. Again, if you go outside that range you set, it will blink red, letting you know they're going too far in one direction during that exercise. And now for some of the more interesting pieces, and that would be the 4 different settings you can pick for the resistance applied during your set. Now this is going to be kind of long-winded, but let's take a look at the 4, starting off with the pump. So the pump mode is essentially how fast you can lift the weight and then take that force and go through the eccentrics. So think of a bicep curl. You're going to try and do a bicep curl as fast as you can. When you get to the top, the system will go over what the force applied to that was, lock it in, and then you'll do the eccentric or lowering of the weight during that bicep curl. And then when you get to the bottom, you're going to try and do it as fast as you can again. The system will again try and adapt and add more resistance or less depending on how well you did during the rep, and so on and so on. Basically, you're to a point where you can't really move the weight, and it will have to adjust to allow you through that range of motion to match the reps you set during the setup of your workout. Next up is old school, and this is basically like using regular weights. So you pick a weight within the app and use it. Now within the app, you can actually set progressions and regressions per rep you do. Then you can also have it scale per workout you do. So those are settings you can pick in the app itself, which is really cool. So in this one, you're going to basically use the weight that you pick, unless you pick, again, a progression or regression within it. And then if you do end up failing out, the system will see that and automatically spot you so that you won't hurt yourself. Now, the third setting is called Time Under Tension, and this is the only one that has an additional setting called Beast in it. So I'm going to go over what Time Under Tension is and how Beast applies to this. So for Time Under Tension, what you do is you pick the starting resistance. They actually say to pick something higher than your usual. You're going to go through the range of motion, and when you get to the top, when you hold it there, the longer you hold it, the more resistance is added to what that number was. So you basically are adding resistance at the lockout at the top, then you'll slowly go back down through the eccentric. When you get to the bottom, you hold it at the bottom to reduce the amount of resistance that you can get back up to the top again. So this just allows you to have time or better time under tension and have resistance applied through the entire range of motion. And then you get to kind of pick, do you need to be heavier or lighter depending on how long you wait at the top or bottom of each rep. Now, how Beast applies to this is the amount of force added or taken away is faster than the standard progressions. So when you do it, if you hold it at the top, it will add more resistance very quickly until it reaches the max of what you set for your threshold. So basically, go to the top. If you hold it there at all, it's going to raise it very, very quickly. At the bottom, again, it's going to reduce it really fast compared to the standard. And the fourth and final mode is called Eccentric, and this is just like what it sounds with any other workout program you do. So essentially what happens is there's almost no resistance when you bring it to the top, or say we're doing a bicep curl. When you curl up the bar, there's almost no resistance, but then you hold it at the top to add resistance, and then you slowly lower down through that resistance, whatever you picked at the top of the range. So you go up as fast as you can, hold it, it's going to add resistance, and then you go through the eccentric portion with that resistance. So again, you're just focusing on the eccentric or negative portion of each rep. So the next thing I like is that I can do almost every single exercise that I need. Again, the only thing I can't do are pull downs. So once that attachment comes out that I talked about, they will have the pull down available for me. But everything else I can do, and I can make other exercises work for the lats and back that I need for rounding out my entire workout until that attachment comes. So now we're going to move away from the device and actually look at the app and how that tends to work and why I think this is actually a really good starting app for most people and getting what they need. So when you first start it up, you will have to register the device to the app itself. So again, it has to be registered to at least one person. I believe up to 8 people or something, or maybe unlimited people can use this device. They just have to scan in and have their own account. But as long as one person has it registered, anyone else can use it as long as they have the app, which is a really cool feature. But when you open the app, you will have the following things. First off, you'll have your activity tab, which just goes over the exercises you have done throughout the days, weeks, so you can kind of see how you're progressing from there. The next tab is the coaching tab, and this is where all of the workout programs and classes live. So you can jump in there. They have actually a daily one you can do, or you can find something like hypertrophy or power or just building muscle, whatever it might be, strength training. You can find what suits you and pick a program from there. Personally, I built my own programs, which is actually the next tab, but just know in that coaching tab, there are a lot of options you can pick from. And again, it uses what you have done in the past based on your strength assessment and put it into those classes for you. So it's basically going to adapt based on whatever those values are. So the third tab over is the workout tab. So this is where I went and built my own workouts as I didn't pick one from the coaching queue. However, this is also where you can take the strength assessment. This will actually be prompted to you in the beginning, but if you need to go back and find it, it is on the workout tab. You can click strength assessment and it'll go over about a 13 or so minute strength assessment for you so that it can find the values you have and then optimize the other exercises for workouts that you do in the coaching tab or that you build on your own. So the fourth tab is the profile tab. And of course, just like it sounds, this is where you make most of your profile changes, but it also has some cool things, including the body parts that you tend to work the most and well, and things that need improvement. So maybe you have really strong legs, but your biceps are lacking. It'll actually show you in the graph based on the force output you can do with them to see what things you may need to work on and get stronger in, which is a really cool feature. And the profile tab also has a leaderboard. So when you do your workouts, you actually get points. I'm not quite sure how it's awarded. I haven't looked at the calculations, but you get points for your workouts, and then it'll put you on a leaderboard against other people so you can kind of see how many workouts you've done and what that leaderboard consists of. Now, personally, I don't really like this because it's kind of putting a game in how often do you work out, which is not really the end goal, but just know it is something that they're trying to use to drive people to use the product. And the fifth and final tab is the trainer tab. So this is where you go to connect to the device if it's not connected to it when you start it up. It's also where you can set the color of the device as well. So there are different color options. I believe the default comes in as blue. I changed it to like the orange option, but there are a few others. And you can also make any updates you need to like the software and firmware from directly in this tab. Now just know the Trainer Plus and the Vitruvian company is still rather new, so I expect a lot of updates to come in this app in the future with far more workouts, exercises, and things of that nature. Alright, now let's take a look at what I don't like about the Trainer Plus. So first off, this thing weighs quite a bit and is pretty bulky getting around. So it weighs about 80 pounds. So again, this thing is not the lightest thing in the world. Actually getting the box inside is pretty difficult. I'm trying to carry this giant thing in a box that weighs 80 pounds. Pretty difficult to get into my room. But just know it does have wheels on one side and a handle underneath on the other. So you can roll it around. Rolls okay on my rug. I wish the wheels were a little bigger. But just know you can roll it, especially on a wood surface around your house. And as a test, I went and removed everything from my closet. So my old benches, dumbbells, dip bars, all that stuff, I went and took them out to see if it would fit. And it indeed does fit on the floor of my office area where I do all my workouts. Just know I do have to lay on the floor, so getting it in and out is still a little awkward because of how the door is positioned. It's a sliding door, so I kind of have to get it in, shift it, and then put it down. So again, being 80 pounds, that's not the easiest thing to do, but it does match my goal of fitting in my closet. Now another con I have, and this is more with Vitruvian versus the product itself, is the selection of accessories and how you have to buy them. I'm not big that they have like an entry and pro version. I really wish I could just pick the items themselves. So I wish I could just pick the premium handles, the long bar, the premium long bar, as well as the bench. That's all I would have picked until the pull down option came out. That would have saved me probably a bit of money as well, and I would have had exactly what I need. Instead, I get all these other pieces of equipment like rope attachments and ankle straps that I'm just really never going to use, and that was kind of upsetting that I'm pretty much forced to buy them in order to get some of the other products. So like the bench is in the pro option and not in the entry option. So I guess I kind of got stuck with having to buy the pro one for certain items I really wanted to use that just didn't come in that entry version. So I hope they allow you to just pick what you want in the future rather than having these bundles. Now my next con is kind of a con and kind of not. So how this thing works is you actually have to plug it into a wall. So it's a 3-prong plug that you plug into a wall outlet. So this is good and bad. Basically, if I lose power to my place, this thing is not going to work and I'll have to resort back to dumbbells or my resistance bands. Now I don't expect that happening very often, but again, it's something that could happen. And something in the far future that could happen as well is maybe we stop using 3-prong wall outlets. And if that's the case, I hope there's some kind of adapter, or maybe by then there's some better product I'm using. I don't know. But again, that could probably like way into the future. Something I don't really have to worry about now, but is something on my mind in terms of just longevity of the item itself. And also make sure you don't lose the power cable because it is detachable. So just know you can remove it to like move it around and stuff. So just don't lose that cable or you will have to buy a new one. Alright, so my next con is actually going back to our accessories, and we're going to take a look at the locks. So basically with the handles and the bars, you lock them into the cable system in the Trainer Plus. The only problem with this is you are forced to use their handles. I wish they sold the piece separately so you could just put it on your own handles or whatever else you want to use. That way, maybe you wanted to use them with something that you really like versus what they sell. They could just sell you that little piece and you could use their own handles. Of course, they're probably doing this to just make more money, of course. But I would love it if they had that little piece so you could buy it separately and use what you wanted to use with this pretty cool device. Alright, and the last thing I don't like about the product is going to be, of course, the price. And the price to me is just pretty outrageous. I understand this thing has a lot in it. There's a lot of software. You have to pay everyone to make it. There's manufacturing, all this stuff. But paying $3,500 for all this equipment, even $3,000 for the base piece, is a really big cost to me. So this thing better have some good durability to it and really last me a long time, or it's going to be very upsetting. You do get 30 days to return it. So again, I'm doing my initial 30 days. To me, I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep this unless something breaks very early on, because I really love using it. Like it's been, again, a blast to use. But again, that price tag is really high, and I hope that they're able to find ways to keep the quality of this, but make it cheaper for more people to jump in and use equipment like this, because I really think it would help out a lot of people getting something that's minimalistic, easy to use and set up, while providing a great workout. Also, please reduce the cost of the accessories. I feel like it's really out of this world how expensive they are. Alright, to wrap it up, the 3 ways I would describe the Vitruvian Trainer Plus is that it's fun, exciting, and extremely expensive. In just the few days I've owned it, so again, this is like the 3rd or 4th day I've actually had this thing, I can't stop thinking about it. I keep thinking of like, how can I make my workouts even better? What can I do to use the available workout options to enhance my workout programming? There's just so many things that I am interested in doing with this product that have really opened my eyes to the products that are similar to this and how those in the future might be improved upon and really make this one run for its money and just keep making this side of the business, the AI style home workout pieces of equipment, better and better, so we can get away from the heavy barbells and things of that nature that I think are pretty dangerous to use and also take up a ton of space. And while I'm bummed that I can't do pull downs, they are in the works for it, so once that arrives, I can literally do everything in my standard programming that I need to get in the workout that I know this machine can do. And looking into the future, I think this thing will eventually replace everything I own. So again, the only time this would be a problem is if I again lost power or we stopped using the standard wall outlets, things of that nature. But otherwise, or this thing just breaks, I guess. But otherwise, I really do think that the style of home gym equipment, the things that can change on the fly for you, even match perfectly with your strength curves, resistance strength curves, I just think that is going to be the future of home fitness equipment. Yes, there are, of course, dumbbells and resistance bands that I use and I still love to this day, but I think this is where we're going to see the market go, and I'm really excited to see how small, cheap, and powerful these things can become. Take a look at some of my old videos where I go over other options that, of course, are much cheaper than this if you are looking to start with your own home gym. So I have a resistance bands and dumbbell version, so make sure you go ahead and check out those videos so that you can get in shape from the comfort of home.